I am the Tribune. My name is Joshua. Today I'm talking to people who are craving, craving God's purpose in their lives and wanting to get to know Him so well that He starts telling you secrets, telling you things that you don't know about yourself, things that you don't know about Him, that you can partner together to create beauty with Him and partner with Him in His blueprints. My question for you is, are you allowing God to choose your people? Everybody you are close to, are you letting Him choose those people for you? It's very important because this could be the determining factor that deepens your relationship with God or not. It could actually be the determining factor whether you succeed or get destroyed. It can be the determining factor on whether you are effective or totally impotent. Letting God choose your people. Now, before we get into what that really means, we first need to look at how we normally choose people. I think you should assess yourself and really be honest with yourself and say, how do I choose people? How do I choose my friends? How do I choose my romantic relationships? What is it based off of? A lot of the times we are taught in our society and in our cultures to choose based off of exterior things you could see with your natural eyes. But God does not choose like that. So if you're going on this journey and you're trying to come into this era with treasure and learn how God is and be His friend, then you're going to be very frustrated on the journey if you don't understand how He chooses people, how He chooses relationships. Because His missions are too important for them to be screwed up by you choosing the wrong people to be around you. That is absolutely not going to happen. He won't allow it. Even if you want to, He won't allow it. So when you go on this journey, that what happens is either you will be obedient and make the process easier and move forward and be obedient and remove the people He says to remove before He has to, or He will remove them for you and it'll be a lot more difficult and messy. And personally, I don't want to go the messy route because it's a waste of time and energy. And then He's not pleased. And then I'm not pleased because I'm wasting time. I'm wasting time fighting extra battles I don't even need to fight when I could just be obedient. So we need to think about, what does God actually choose off of? He chooses off of the inside. He chooses off of the heart. He knows what people are thinking. He knows what their deepest intentions are. So what He does is He assesses those things, gives you insight on that, and then He makes the decision. Now, He doesn't choose based off of what you think. Another thing is He knows the future. He knows where that person's going to be in 30 years, inside. He knows what kind of things, what kind of talents they have. He knows what kind of anointings He's given them that they haven't even stepped into yet. He understands when people are actually going to not be beneficial to you and your purpose with Him down the line. Some people, okay, He chooses that don't look like they're qualified in the moment. And He puts His hand on them and actually tells you, I have my hand on her, on him. I have my hand on them. And you know it, but you're like, what? Them? He's like, them. Now, if you don't know the Lord, you don't know His character, you won't understand then that He's not looking at them right now, just like He's not looking at you right now. He's looking at you and them in the future, what you're going to be. That's why He's omniscient. He knows everything. And He's omnipresent. He is everywhere at all times. He's 50 years down the road already. So that means He knows what that person is going to do and how they're going to partner with you. They don't even realize all the things that they're going to come into in their lives, and that's why He asks us to partner with certain people we wouldn't imagine at first. On the other hand, there are people who look wonderful. There are people who are amazing that they just look like they're godly, everything's great, they're Christians, but God sees, no, they're not for you, because they are not going to match with my blueprints for you and for them 10 years down the line. The blueprints will not work. Not to say they're bad. It just means that they're not for that kind of relationship for you. Now, on the third group are people he wants totally removed, completely removed. Now, that means they're destructive. That's what that means. And that means that if partnering with them and being too close to somebody like that will actually destroy your purpose. It will cloud you. At very least, it'll cloud, actually very most, not very least, very most, it'll cloud your hearing. Because there are many different forms of destruction and purpose. And you can make things very difficult for yourself too. Now, if you're doing purpose and you move forward with people that he doesn't want you to move forward with, well, that means that things could be delayed for you. And if you continue to just keep going that direction, maybe he'll reassign, because maybe he can't do that with those people around, but he needs it done. And we can't be arrogant in picking people, thinking that we know best. Another thing is we have to actually cut our desires, cut the cultural desires that got put into us that we should mean to be, like when we're for romantic relationships. When we're looking at for girls and men and women because they're fine or they're beautiful. That makes no difference. That is just as crazy as me giving you a birthday present with a beautiful package, beautiful wrapping, and you're so excited because you think it's going to be an amazing present, and it's giant, and there's nothing inside when you open it up. Can you imagine? Now, if you're happy with wrapping, that's for you. You are not then one of the generals, and you are not meant to be hearing this right now. That's what that means. But I'm talking to people who want real substance, who want to open, I don't care, open something with newspaper wrapped around it, and inside there is treasure in there. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for treasure. We're not looking for the other things. We're not looking for exterior things. So what's most important on this thing is making sure that we hear God and he tells us what's what, because we can't tell by the outside of looking. Just how people can't tell by looking on the outside of us. You just can't do it. Only God knows. Only God knows where everybody is and everybody will be and where everybody's been. So that's why he connects everybody. Now, this next thing I'm going to say is part of what a lot of Christians are very afraid of. And it actually hinders their growth. And it hinders their depth of relationship. Which is, God will even ask you to remove family members. People who are actually blood relatives will be removed if he wants. They will be separated. Either he will do it or you will have to do it. One of the two. I'd rather him not do it because it's too, sometimes it's good when he does stuff, but sometimes it's more stressful. This is how you know when God wants you to remove somebody yourself. He'll tell you. He'll actually tell you. And this is how you know when he wants to do it for you, and it's more seamless. When they just change and leave. Those are the only two ways. But either way, it's good for you. And it's really good for them. Because what they don't understand, even people who are family members who are your enemies, what they don't understand is they are going to want you to be successful in your purpose. The world would want that. Why? Because you coming into your purpose will help so many people and give so many people joy that it would be ridiculous for you not to be in your purpose, for everybody. And this is what makes this process taste better in your mouth. What makes it taste better is knowing it's the best for everybody. I don't care what the other people think about it. You're mad, you don't understand, they don't need to understand. You cannot be concerned about what people are thinking about our conversations. When God's asked you to do something, He gives you an order, there is no questions there. Who cares what these people think? They must be removed if He asks. And He will order those things. And then you will see freedom for yourself. You will see a deeper level of communication with God, which is more valuable than any human communication you could ever have. You will see treasure being excavated. You will see blueprints being given to you. Because now God is seeing that you actually are very trustworthy. It's very important to notice the things God's asking of you that test you. And it's not really that He needs to see, because He already knows what you're going to do. It's so you can see what's inside of you, so you can adjust yourself and be strong when you're attacked by Satan. Because as time goes on, the enemy will come test you himself. Are you really doing this for God? Are you really being obedient to God? Now, if you handle your tests with God and you pass those tests, He already gives you the answer to those questions, so you don't have to go and say, maybe I'm doing this for the wrong reasons. No, I already know because I passed tests. I know what I'm doing this for. So there's so much involved in this conversation, and this conversation actually bridges off into different areas. But this is the gist of the conversation. You need to let God choose your people. Stop looking at exteriors. It's foolish. And I know it's difficult. It's difficult because we're trained to do that. We're trained to do that in movies. Everybody, we're trained to do that as little babies. You see a little baby, oh, she's so cute. I mean, he's so handsome. We're trained like this before we can even talk, that this is what we should be looking for. And that's fine. I'm not saying that we shouldn't appreciate beauty and things that look pleasing to the eye. I'm not saying that that's bad. What I'm saying is that it's bad when that's the only thing you're focused on, and you're trying to be a general with the Lord, working in tandem with Him, creating things that you have never seen before, and you need to hear His voice and partner with the right people. For example, I had a situation one time where I was led he was telling me, I'm going to bring you a friend. And I'm looking for someone I was in my early 20s. I'm looking for somebody who's in their 20s. Okay? Do you know he sent somebody he sent somebody who was 40 years older than me or something. And we did mighty preparation together. And on top of that, I was looking for somebody who was very close in my physical proximity. This person didn't even live even close to me at all. Lived in a whole other area. I actually never even saw this person. We were talking on the phone. And that was one of the most powerful experiences ever. See, but if I was so focused on God, you're leading me to have a friend and to partner with somebody in this season, and I'm looking for somebody who's my age, black, that's foolish. I would have totally missed it. And the power coming out of that season was unbelievable. This happens over and over again. It's something I've learned to get used to. I've actually learned to look for it. I look for things that actually are very unusual. I look for things that people, I don't look on the outside. I've been training to do that. because I don't want to go through the process where I'm picking wrong. God has to then correct it. It takes more time than when I'm picking wrong just because of my own carnal nature and I'm not my culture and they taught us this and they that has to stop, because when you pick and you bring somebody in, God has to then, if it's not what He wanted, you have to then go through the process of correcting that, or there's no movement. That's why it's so important. It's valuable. So God chooses by the heart. He chooses not only by the heart, but He chooses by what both of your purposes are. And only He knows that. Sometimes they don't even know that. Sometimes they're not even connected to that yet. But this is not a license to then say, I'm just going to go and just choose somebody and they're nice. And even if they're not it right now, they'll be it eventually. No, that's also very dangerous, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that God tells you that. I'm saying that God will tell you in your heart. And if He decides to remove somebody that you think should be there, you need to get used to it and allow Him to remove them. And help Him. If He asks you to do it, you need to do it. Because it's a form of trust. It's relationship. This is the key to understanding how God chooses people. And it's impossible without knowing Jesus Christ. You need the Holy Spirit to do this. You need to be a Christian. If you don't, and you say, no, I don't need that, you cannot have this. You cannot have this insight. In fact, He will actually choose people who are totally opposite of what you think that you need or that you want. He will choose that and show you that He's right. And He'll show you over and over again that He's right until you just stop and trust Him. So I actually expect that God will come show you this. Watch for people coming into your life that are not confirmed, that God didn't confirm them. Watch out for that. And on the other hand, the more important part, pay close attention to where God is confirming. He wants you to know this isn't something that is like some kind of riddle that He wants you scrambling around trying to figure this out. It's very clear. It's not complicated. It's just, do you want to hear it or not? That's the question. So to the people who don't want to hear it, you can go to another video. You can turn this off. You probably already did. So the people who are really still listening, those are people who want to hear this. And God will find you. Because my words are His to you. That means watch out. Be ready. Be watchful. And always consider what God thinks about that individual, what He's picking for you. The last thing I'll say that is essential is it's very hard to pick people if you don't know your purpose. If you don't know what you're called to do, then it's very difficult to hear God, because He's going to be speaking from that place of what He talked to you about. He's going to say, yeah, you know I talked to you about this. Well, this person is going to be a help to this area that I spoke to you about. And they might not even know it. That's the point. He knows it. So the first step is to get to know Him and be His friend. From friendship, you learn about yourself, you learn about your mission in Him, you learn about your purpose, and then He can choose people for you, and it will be a lot easier because you will see these fruits come out over time. This is key. I love you. I know it's very difficult. I'm saying hard things. But this isn't a cake show. We're not sitting here eating cake. We're eating meat. We're eating meat. and especially plant-based meat, because that is healthier. Hail Jehovah.